Sure.
your profession?
Yeah, my name is Chris Dortch II, and I am the executive director of the Chattanooga Film Festival and the Frightening Ass Film Festival. Is it okay if I curse? That's a question.
It's completely
Go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I have been a big horror movie fan for pretty much all of my life, and even though I get to do the Chattanooga Film Festival, which is a 4-day celebration of all types of different independent film and classic film, and I do put a lot of horror films in there, I love October a lot. Every October I watch at least 1 or 2 horror films a day, make myself do it every year, and got to the point a few years back where I was celebrating that with friends and bringing as many people out to my house to watch stuff as I could, and before I knew it, they were all inviting friends, and we were getting noise complaints from any house or apartment we were in, and it just made sense to take it public. And about 8 years ago, I was in Champy's Chicken on Martin Luther King Boulevard, and I heard a very southern old gentleman say, "This is a good-ass piece of chicken." And I thought, if that man can have a good-ass piece of chicken, then we can have a frightening-ass film festival. So I've just tried to create, an environment and surround myself with people that no matter what people's choices, no matter how they live their lives, that they were free to do that and free to be happy. And we just, all celebrated things that we thought were great. And when I could go sit in the room and watch a movie just kick everyone's ass, that was something that I just fell in love with. And we all watch movies, and I don't think that many people really think about them on more than a surface level. Every once in a while, you'll see something that really, really means something to you, that it just unlocks something in you. And to me, respecting cinema is about realizing how important and how even life-changing a medium that film can be. You go to that and you approach it philosophically, you can have one experience, but if you go to it and you're, my mom or one of my cousins that isn't thinking about it that way, you can still enjoy that movie. So I love that movies can either be escapism or they can be a classroom, and I can't think of, like I said, any other mediums that's the case.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Halloween.
I'll sit here and say something that you probably you might not want me to say, which is I dropped out of college. I literally I went to film school for a while, and the time I went to film school, it was just a lot of pretentiousness and a lot of bullying and a lot of people that didn't really want to rally together to make something. It was like a lot of lone wolves where we all needed to be sled dogs or we weren't going to get anywhere. My whole life I've worked at jobs where there were, shitty dress codes, ridiculous policies, things like that. I wanted to have something that I got to get up and be myself in the morning. And honestly, all of this has been about the pursuit of that. I grew up in Chattanooga, and my background here was as being a guy that, and again, this is, before Netflix was really a thing or before you could get your hands on very many. It really was like a scavenger hunt to find anything. There wasn't any independent films coming to town. I would have to drive, 200-300 miles to see bands that I cared about. The great thing is no matter where you are, even in the most rural parts of our country, you can find music and movies and things to inspire you. I'm kind of a cranky camper when it comes to Chattanooga. Almost all of the entertainment and music venues in our city are all booked by one company. That company is not in Chattanooga. One of the most important things is to be a curator, It's to not just book something because you think it'll work, but book something because you care about it yourself and you love it and you're a fan of it. My friend Brian Hennon runs an arcade called the Coin Op. He was my head of projection and ran my tech department at the film festival for years, but has loved video games more than anything his whole life. Got inspired to go out and create a video arcade, and he's done it. That's another place that I absolutely love. Businesses that are just even the Hot Chocolatier. It's run by people that just absolutely love desserts, and they were a part of their passion in their own life before it became what they did as a living. I think a lot of film festivals, especially now, are sort of giant corporate sponsored swag lounges. These are $1 million operations. We don't like to take sponsor money that dictates what we do. Even working with AMC downtown, they tried to censor our content a few years And that's not going to happen. I've stopped working with them because they're not going to look at the content of our films and say, no, you can't do this. That's not, we don't like being told no. You know, the places that you walk into and you just feel the voice of the person that owns it, we can all kind of smell phoniness when it's there. You know, there's a difference between Walmart and a small business, you know. This year's was actually maybe my favorite, just because they kind of handed us the keys and walked away. And I just want it to be as strange and fun as it can. And so when we're in a venue that doesn't quite get that, it can make them a little nervous. These guys were pretty good. You know, as much as there's been adversity, as much as there's been a crazy headache every year and something that's happened, I really wouldn't trade anything that's happened. If it took all this crazy shit to get where we are and to get to do what I do, I'm cool with it. I can't say that I regret much. I would just say if you are trying to go into any field that you're even slightly concerned that you're gonna fucking hate it, don't do that. My definition for success is, you know, last night at 11 o'clock, I showed a crazy ass horror film from the 90s called Brain Scan.
Play it, Michael.
As silly as it might sound, it doesn't have to be about any more than that. You've got to do everything that you can to make sure that you're loving the existence that you have and the people around you. And if you're surrounding yourself with great people and working towards something you love, even if it's just on a hobby level, even if you work a day job and you come home and you do what you're passionate about, I don't think that you'll ever really regret your life. There's something to feeling like you're in the right place, you know, and you only get that feeling after, you know, nobody just gets to be on the top of the mountain. You got to climb that son of a bitch first. You know what I mean? So.